When you do that with footballers, like he said about Leeds, and when you do things like that about a man like
Keegan, the name itself, echoes through English football history like a chant that never fades. He wasn't just a player, he was a symbol of passion, energy, and the beautiful chaos that defines the game. From the pitches of Scunthorpe to the grand stage of Liverpool and the roar of Wembley, Keegan became a hero of the people. His determination, his heart-on-sleeve attitude, and his relentless drive made him one of the most loved figures in football. Fans adored his charisma. Rivals respected his work ethic, and when he stepped away from the pitch, many believed his story had already been written, one of triumph, emotion, and legacy. But as the years went by, Kevin Keegan took on a new role, one that would test him in ways no match ever could, that of a football pundit. On television screens, in interviews, and across media platforms, he became a voice of reason, honesty, and insight. His opinions carried weight because they came from experience, from someone who had lived and breathed every moment of the game. People trusted Keegan to tell it like it is, and he did. Sometimes too much, because while football may be built on passion, punditry is built on perception. Every word, every sentence, every opinion gets dissected, debated, and twisted. And Kevin Keegan, the man who always wore his heart on his sleeve, soon found himself standing in a storm of words, a storm he never intended to create. His commentary style, emotional and unfiltered, began to spark conversations far beyond the studio. Fans loved his authenticity, but critics started calling him outdated, out of touch, even controversial. Still, Keegan refused to change. Say it as you see it, that was always his way. But in today's football media landscape, where one wrong phrase can set social media ablaze, that honesty came at a cost. Recently, a new wave of controversy hit a single remark, said with the same confidence and sincerity he's always had, exploded into headlines and debates across the football world. Suddenly, Kevin Keegan wasn't being talked about for his achievements, but for his opinions. The very passion that made him beloved was now painting him as divisive. Fans who grew up idolizing him felt conflicted. Some defended him fiercely, while others distanced themselves, unsure how to interpret his words. TV networks hesitated, pundits debated, and journalists pounced. What was once a voice of warmth becoming a subject of scrutiny. The laughter, the energy, the charm, all of it now overshadowed by a sentence, a thought, a belief that many believe crossed a line. But here's the thing, Kevin Keegan has never been one to play safe. From the days of fighting for his place at Liverpool to his emotional outbursts as Newcastle manager, he's always been raw and real. That's what made him different. That's what made him human. So when controversy came knocking, he faced it the only way he knew how, by standing firm, unapologetic, and true to himself. He may have stirred the pot, but perhaps, deep down, that's exactly what the game needs. Voices that don't hide behind the corporate polish. Voices that remind us football is not just a business, but a game of emotion. Still, questions remain. Has Kevin Keegan gone too far this time? Has his truth-telling turned against him in a world that demands perfection from imperfection? Or is this just another misunderstood moment from a man who's always spoken from the heart? One thing's certain, Kevin Keegan's punditry career has entered its most controversial chapter yet. What happens next may redefine how the world remembers him. Not just as a legend on the pitch, but as a man unafraid to stand alone in a world where every word can make or break a legacy. Just as a legend on the pitch, but as a man unafraid to stand alone in a world where every word can make or break a legacy. That's exactly what Kevin Keegan has always been. His football journey was never about playing it safe. From the very beginning, he fought for every inch. Born in Doncaster, South Yorkshire in 1951, Keegan wasn't a prodigy, blessed with natural elegance. He was a worker, a fighter, a man who made up for what he lacked in flair with endless passion and determination. He wasn't afraid to challenge trends, question tactics, or call out what he saw as performative commentary. Still, he remained respected until late 2023, when one comment during a speaking engagement set off a storm that would dominate headlines for weeks. In late 2023, Kevin Keegan said something that many interpreted as outdated and controversial. He stated that he had a problem with female pundits discussing the England men's team, explaining that he didn't believe they had the same experience as men. Within hours, the remarks spread like wildfire across social media and news outlets. Some saw it as a reflection of old-fashioned thinking. Others saw it as an honest, if clumsy, expression of traditional football views. For Keegan, it became the most defining controversy of his post-football career, one that threatened to overshadow decades of contribution to the sport he loved. The backlash was immediate. Fans, pundits, and organisations criticised his statement, calling it dismissive and tone-deaf in an era striving for equality and inclusivity. Yet, not everyone turned against him. Two respected figures, TalkSport host Alan Brazil and former England international Chris Waddle, publicly defended Keegan, saying his comments were misunderstood and taken out of context. They argued that Keegan didn't intend to discredit women's knowledge of football, but was instead highlighting a generational difference in perspective. Still, the damage was done. His reputation as the emotional, outspoken voice of football was once again under fire. And just like that, Kevin Keegan, the same man who once captivated millions with his footballing brilliance and heartfelt passion, found himself in the eye of yet another storm. Only this time, it wasn't about goals or trophies, but about words and opinions in a world far less forgiving than the football pitches he once ruled. Whether one agrees with him or not, one truth remains. Kevin Keegan has always been a man of emotion, honesty, and conviction, and even now, decades after his playing days, those very traits continue to define him, for better or for worse. Kevin Keegan's story isn't just one of goals, trophies, or controversies. It's the story of a man who lived football with every beat of his heart. Through every triumph and every storm, one thing has never changed: his passion for the game. Yes, he's had moments that sparked debate. Yes, he's said things that divided opinion. But beneath all the headlines, there's still the same man who fought his way from Scunthorpe to the very top of world football. The man who inspired a generation to believe that hard work, courage, and heart could take you anywhere. His honesty, though sometimes misunderstood, has always come from love for the sport, for the fans, and for the truth as he sees it. In a world where many speak safely, Kevin Keegan speaks sincerely, and that, perhaps, is why he still matters. From the electric roar of Anfield to the emotional rollercoaster of St James's Park, from Ballon d'Or triumphs to punditry firestorms, Keegan's legacy has never been ordinary. It's been real, imperfect, passionate, human. Even in controversy, there's something undeniably authentic about him, a reminder that football isn't played by flawless people, but by those brave enough to care deeply. His words may have caused friction, but they also prove that his fire still burns bright, even decades after hanging up his boots. Kevin Keegan will forever be remembered as more than a footballer. He's an emotion, a heartbeat of English football history, and while debates about his opinions may fade with time, the memories of his dazzling runs, his unstoppable drive, and his unfiltered honesty will always remain. Because when all is said and done, legends aren't defined by perfection, they're defined by passion, and few have ever embodied that better than Kevin Keegan. If you enjoyed this story of football's most emotional icon, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think about Kevin Keegan. Was he misunderstood or simply too honest for today's game? And if you'd like to see us cover another football legend, feel free to drop your suggestions legends in the comments, because every legend has a story and we're here to tell them all.